Hello and welcome to our virtual yoga class. We'll begin class laying on our back. So take a moment to make your way there. Legs long, back on the floor. Now you can either take your hands to frame your hips, palms up towards the ceiling like a Shavasana, or if you prefer, you can also take your hands to your belly, your chest, and allow your hands to rest there. If you do so, we'll invite a deeper awareness of the breath as you notice your chest and belly rise and fall. Notice that we're settling into our practice, settling into the class. That means we're starting to leave our to-do lists of earlier in the day, to-do lists of afternoon and evening, and start practicing that present moment awareness. Now inhale here and exhale side out. And then you'll start to build that bridge with your breath of the physical, mental, emotional body. And you'll also use your breath as a focusing tool as you're working on strength, flexibility, and balance, either simultaneously or focusing on one aspect. Inhale, invite that deep belly breath, meaning that breath that you feel begins at the belly. Simultaneously soften the neck and shoulders, down the length of the arms and the spine, upper back, mid back, lower back, down to your hips, the rest of your legs, the ankles and toes. Right now in the beginning of class, we're softening our body, preparing ourselves for the more active portions of class. Right now we let go, we receive, and refocus our attention on our breath. So we'll notice about 5 breath cycles. Once again, purposely releasing your to-do lists, observing any thoughts that arise. You're not doing yoga incorrectly. If your mind wanders, that's natural and part of the process. But you are cultivating focus. You're seeing how often throughout the class can I return to my breath. Intentional breath. If you have trouble concentrating, increase the length of the inhale and exhale just a little longer than you're accustomed to. One more breath. And then we'll start to lift our arms up overhead, interlace your fingers. A soft stretch here throughout the body. From the toes, tops of the feet, up throughout the spine. You can lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling as much as you can, opening throughout the spine, stretching the abdomen. You can interlace your fingers, palms pressing towards the back of the room. You're lengthening throughout the arms, opening there as well to shoulders. Inviting a generous breath here. You'll start to release your hands, lift your left leg up towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers right behind your knee or thigh. You can lengthen your leg here, rotate your ankle clockwise or counterclockwise. And then you can focus that stretch into the hamstrings by bringing your leg closer towards you and lengthening your leg. And then you can also shift that stretch into the hips or glutes by dropping your leg towards the right and then as well towards the left. Now, if you find a point you prefer to focus on, by all means focus on that point and keep that leg still, but feel free to move around as well. Whatever it is that most supports you in opening up, especially here in this part of our body, as our hamstrings and hips tend to be tight. Take a moment here, breathing into that flexibility. more breaths here. You can start to bend that left knee. Cup that knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, and then drop your head back. 2 more times. Lift your forehead up towards your knee. Make it flex that right foot for extra support, inviting a more active pose. And on the third round, remain there, making sure you're tucking your chin towards your chest. You want to get that release into the neck and shoulders. Core strength here, and then drop your head back. Opposite side, bend your right knee, and then grip that knee with your hands. Or actually, first, let's lengthen our leg up towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers. We'll do this first, focusing on our hamstrings. You can rotate your ankle as well if you need to open up around your heels, toes. You can even spread your toes here. Motion clockwise, counterclockwise with your foot. And then shift attention to your hamstrings by lengthening your leg and bringing your leg closer towards you. Either remaining here or dropping your leg towards the left, holding here. You're going to remain here or sway your leg towards the right, back and forth. Whatever supports you in opening up. And notice, we're not just focusing on our hamstrings, but we're affecting the calf muscle, around the hips and the glutes. Even your lower back is released by working around these muscle groups. Don't forget your breath. Deep belly breath to support you here. Two more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. An intentional breath. Lengthen your inhale, exhale. Bend your knee, cup your knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead up towards your knee, flex that left foot. Core workout here. You're also stretching and lengthening or rounding throughout the spine. On that third round, remain here. You want the rounding of the spine. It's releasing and opening from the lower back to the upper back. And then release. Bend both knees. You're going to come into a twist. Drop your knees towards the left. Bring your arms out to a T. And then drop your head towards the right. Remain here. Soften the body. Right? Purposely soften the body. I can say softening the body, yet surprisingly, we have to be more deliberate in softening and relaxing the body. And so you're scanning around the neck, down the spine, especially around the hips. Imagine the knees melting further towards the floor. Take a comfortable breath. It's a little bit more difficult to invite that deep breathing when we're in a twist. Take that comfortable breath, purposeful and softening the body, allowing for the wisdom of a restorative pose to guide you. Physically, you're releasing throughout the spine, the hips. Two breaths here. Bring your knees back to center. Drop your knees to the opposite side. Turn your head. So you want to make sure that your head and your knees are facing opposite directions. That's to invite the full benefit of the twist all throughout the length of your spine up to the neck. Once again, scan neck, shoulders, down the spine, hips to your knees. Soften the knees. Imagine your knees are melting further towards the floor. Again, this is an intentional practice of physically letting go and softening the body, allowing the twist to inform, to guide you. Invite a comfortable breath. Inhale, intentional inhale here, intentional exhale. And then bring your knees back to center, head is neutral. Now float your feet off the floor, grab both knees with your hands, and then lift your forehead up towards your knees and hold. Inhale, exhale, core workout. You're rounding the spine, releasing and opening lower back, mid back, upper back to the neck. And then drop your head back. Keep your hands on your knees, and then rock to the left and to the right. Massage your lower back, your mid back. And then shift out of the pose. We'll transition to sit in our cross-legged position. As you come to sit in your cross-legged position, usually there's one leg that's on forward or the most away from you. Go ahead and switch it up. Just for the effort of balance, noticing that we tend to favor different sides of our body, or we just come into these habits, and just for the effort of balance, we want to be aware of that. Little adjustments like that, make sure that we're evenly opening up throughout the hips. Hands on your knees. We'll meditate, a little meditation here, 3 breaths. We inhale and exhale. So for the first breath, just invite a natural breath. No control of the breath. It can be very short, it could be long. On that second breath, intentionally lengthen your inhale and exhale. And then on your third breath cycle, inhale here, exhale, sigh it out. Building that bridge physically, mentally, emotionally through our breath. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, palms up. Now I'm very purposely lengthening throughout the arms, opening the shoulders. I'm going to stretch towards the left. Hold here, your chin is neutral and soft. And then back to center, opposite side. Back to center, release your hands right behind your head. Notice your elbows have a tendency to collapse forward. Purposely press your elbows back, therefore your shoulder blades sort of shift a little bit closer together, your chest opens up more. There's a lot more going on when we're pressing our elbows back. Now keeping your hands pressed firmly against your head, twist towards the left and towards the right. Just a couple of times. Lead through your chest and your heart. Invite that awareness here, noticing that twist. On that next round, see if you can twist just a little bit further. Not to a point that's painful or uncomfortable. You're just working on your flexibility, continuously opening up throughout the torso and the spine. Don't forget your breath. One more time on each side. And now release your hands. You can, we'll release our hands to behind and then interlace our fingers. I'm purposely drawing my shoulder blades closer together. I'm lifting my gaze up towards the ceiling. I'm not necessarily opening up my throat too much. I'm just lifting my gaze, a gentle lift in the chin. Purposely bring your shoulder blades closer together. It's going to open up the chest and open up the shoulders and the upper back. Release. Come back to center. Release your hands on your knees. Shoulder shrug, shoulders up towards your ears, and then draw them down. Up towards your ears. Now, as I draw my shoulders back down, I purposely bring my shoulder blades closer together. Elbows remain close to my torso. Hands are softly on my knees. Inhaling powerfully as you're lifting your shoulders up towards your ears. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more times. Draw your shoulders down. Release your cross-legged position, and then bring your legs out to a V. You're going to invite a little bend to your knees, so that helps you. You're gonna twist towards the right. So you're leading through your chest. Your heart helps with that twist. Invite a little bend to your knees here. And then start to fold over. Now, as you're folding over, you're leading through your chest, your heart. You want to try to keep a nice long spine. And then hands can reach anywhere. Thighs, shins, ankles, toes, whatever supports you here. And then you're noticing that boundary. Now, a lot is being activated. You're even still stretching here throughout that right leg or left leg. Here, focus on your right leg. Could be your calf muscle behind the knees, hamstrings. Breathe into that boundary. See if you can fold just a little bit more than you're accustomed to. If you want a more intense stretch, you flex your feet. Otherwise, keep your feet soft. 5 breaths. Breath assist you as you fold. Deep belly breath. And then release the pose. Back to neutral, back to center. Now twist towards the left. You can allow a little bend to that right knee. You can either flex your right foot or your left foot, or relax your foot. Start to fold. About 5 breaths here. Deep belly breath. Release. 3 breath cycles. We fold down the center. A little bend to your knees. You can inch your hands forward here. Inhale. And then exhale. Release the pose. We'll go ahead and transition into our forward fold. Ground your feet onto the floor. Generous bend to your knees. 3 rounds. We're going to take our hands to our shins. Inhale halfway up. Now when you're halfway up, you're sliding your shoulders back and then your back is flat. You notice a stretch here throughout the glutes and the hamstring. There's a little bend to your knees. Exhale, release. And when you release, relax your neck and head. Do not crane up your head. You have to practice letting go here. Second round, inhale halfway up. Exhale, release, relaxing the neck, the head. Third round, inhale halfway up. And then exhale, release. From here, ground through your feet. We're going to slowly roll up to standing. It's a good physical practice of letting go. Your legs are active and your torso is relaxed. Release the weight of your arms, lengthen throughout the spine. Mountain pose, hands framing your hips. 1 generous breath here. Inhale, extended mountain pose. Remain where you're at. Round through your feet, and then inhale, lift your arms up overhead. Palms face each other. You can take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Chest is open, so your arms are radiating out. You're grounding through your feet. Remain here. Inhale. Exhale. Drop your hands. Make a T with your arms. Now keeping your hips square towards the front, leading through your chest, your heart twist towards the right. Taking your gaze over that right hand. Now your hips will naturally open towards the right, but to the best of your ability, ground through your feet and keep your hips square towards the front. Back to center, opposite side, twist towards the left. Doing your best to keep your hips squared towards the front. You can take your gaze over that left hand. Back to center, release your hands, interlace your fingers, extend your elbows, take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Purposely bring your shoulder blades closer together, bend your knees, pull down, forward fold, elbows extend behind you, soften your neck, relax your neck here. Don't forget your breath. Now hands to shins, 3 rounds, inhale halfway up. Second round, inhale halfway up. Third round, inhale halfway up. Exhale, release, slowly roll up. Rounding through your feet, letting your arms dangle, head comes up last. Draw your shoulders down, 3 breaths, a practice of stillness. And some of the more difficult parts of yoga here. We inhale and exhale for the day we've had so far. We inhale and exhale for this moment. We inhale and exhale for the rest of our day. Open your eyes if your eyes are closed. This time we'll lift our arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Lift your heels halfway or all the way up. In all of these poses, we're looking at that relationship of effort and ease. Notice that paradox in your body. Where is the effort and where is the ease? Keep your gaze concentrated on one point. Release your heels. Keep your heels where they are. Chair pose. Bend your knees. Now your arms are radiating out. Hold. Bend your knees further. Forward fold. 3 rounds. Inhale halfway up. Exhale. Release. Second round. And third round. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, release, sweep your arms up overhead. Noticing left hand press against right hand press against left hand. That's a presencing exercise. We're continuously arriving to this moment throughout the class. Release your hands. We'll prepare for tree pose, a balance pose. Take your left foot to rest right against your ankle and hold here. Noticing your core activate, either remain here or bring your foot a little bit higher towards your calf, or use your hands to bring your foot even higher to your thigh. Different expressions here with your hands. Find a good position with your hands, your arms. Notice any crunching of the shoulders next to your ears, draw them down. Steady your breath and steady your gaze to one point. A steady gaze, a steady mind. Noticing that effort and ease. One more breath. Release your hands, release your feet, pedal your feet back and forth. Now here we'll shift into a chair pose. I'm going to go ahead and Stay in the same position that you're in. Bend your knees, chair pose this time. Bring your arms out to a T and a twist towards the right. So your knees are still bent. Keep your hips squared towards the front as much as you can. And then back to center, opposite side. Take your gaze over your left hand. Hold. And then release, come back to center. Arms really out forward. Engage those glutes, those quads, and bend your knees further, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release, soften the neck, second round. Softening the neck as you fold, third round. And then after this third round, your choice, how you come up to standing. You can roll up slowly or sweep your arms up overhead. Either way, bring intention and presence and awareness as you come up to standing. Hands in front of your heart center. Invite a breath, inhale here. And exhale. Release your hands. Start to prepare yourself for your tree pose. Opposite side, right foot rests against your ankle. Remain here, activating the core, anchoring through your heel. And when you're ready, let's shift that foot. And whichever expression of tree pose works for you right now. Different positions here with your arms. Your gaze steady to one point. A steady gaze is a steady mind. Noticing the effort and ease in the pose. One more breath. Release your hands, release your feet. Bend your knees, chair pose, arms radiate forward. Hold here, knees are bent. Glutes and quads are active, core is active. Take your hands to your heart center, bend your knees a little bit further, twist towards the right. You're opening throughout the glutes and hips here, back to center, opposite side. The chair pose is a grounded pose. Back to center, bend your knees further. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. We'll step back into our plank pose. Hands are right beneath your shoulders. And I release all the way down towards the floor. And then inhale up, upward facing dog. Extending throughout the spine. Lift up, down dog. Or come into your tabletop. And either tabletop or downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. Bend your left knee, stack your hips to the left. Release your foot back down towards the floor, opposite side. Lift your right leg, bend your knees, stack your hips. Release your foot down towards the floor, and then drop your knees on the mat. Shift your hands so they're right beneath your shoulders. We're preparing for a needle pose. I'm pressing through that left hand and lifting that right arm up towards the ceiling. I'm purposely reaching up and then pressing my hand back, right hand. Now release that right shoulder onto the mat. Lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. You can keep your left arm lifted or rest that hand on your lower back. Take your hand to the mat, shift back up, neutral position. Let's take care of our spine. Let's inhale up into a cow pose. Exhale, round our spine to a cat pose. Chin towards chest. Back to neutral. Opposite side. I'm pressing that right hand onto the mat. I'm lifting my left arm up towards the ceiling, pressing my hand back. Release your shoulder onto the mat. Lift that right arm up towards the ceiling or rest it on your lower back. Inhale here. One more breath. Release your hand back down to the mat. Moving at your own pace, a couple of breath cycles. Inhale up into your cow and cat pose. Making sure in that cow pose, you're lifting that tailbone, lifting your head, opening your chest, exhaling, rounding your spine, tucking your chin towards your chest. You want to get that full benefit of opening the lower back, mid back, and upper back. These are very accessible poses to protecting our spine, protecting our lower back, mid back, and upper back. One more round, wherever you're at, inhaling to a cow pose, exhaling to the cat pose. And now step back into your child's pose, either knees close together or knees towards the edges of your mat. Take that left hand towards the right corner of your mat. Elbow floats off the floor, hold. Release that hand. Right hand inches towards the left corner of the mat. Elbow floats off the floor. And then release your hand. Shift up. Come to sit. Make sure you have room behind you to lay down soon. First, we'll move into a boat pose. In that boat pose, your knees are bent, feet are on the floor momentarily. And we'll float our legs up. Now you have two options with your hands. You can take your hands behind your thighs for extra support, or take your palms up towards the ceiling. So either way works. Now you lift your legs and then you extend your legs as much as you can. Now it's helpful to imagine a cord lift your chest. So that means your core is engaged, you're lifted here. Hold here. A lot of strength here, of quads, of glutes, of core strength. There's also balance here. It's a very intense combination of both balance and strength here. Hold, and then release. Take a breath here, knees, feet on the floor. Inhale, exhale. Second round, lift your legs up as high as you can. Either hands behind your thighs. Lift your chest as high as you can. Imagine that cord from your belly or core. And then release. Lengthen that left leg, bend that right knee. Take your left arm out, twist towards the right. Flex your left foot, purposely lengthen your spine, draw your shoulders down. Chin is neutral. Take a comfortable breath. And then release. Opposite side, bend your left knee, take your right arm out, twist towards the left. Right foot is flexed, spine is long, shoulders away from your ears. Release. Lengthen both legs out, palms up towards the ceiling. Slowly release and lower down towards the floor. Find a point to hover. Feet can float off the floor. Chin towards chest. Protect your neck. Then drop your head all the way back. You can inhale here. Exhale. Side out. Very good. Lift your arms up overhead as we did earlier in class. Full body stretch, palms towards the back. Purposely lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling. Release your hands, bend both knees. Grab your feet with your hands and then lengthen both legs as much as you can. You can bend one knee more than the other. You can rock to the left, to the right. You want to get that final stretch from the tops of the feet down to the calves, hamstrings, hips, glutes, lower back. Get that final stretch. Lengthening both legs, bending one knee more generously, bending both knees. You can rock to the left, to the right. You can bring both soles of the feet to touch. Stay there another moment or two. And then after a breath, start to release the pose, and then we'll settle into our last resting pose, or our final pose of the class, or Shavasana. Legs long, palms up towards the ceiling. The only thing to be purposeful about in this pose is to relax, to soften the body. Be gentle with yourself, observing any thoughts or sensations without judgment, just noticing. That's part of the process. You're not trying to delete your thoughts or anything. It's a pose that gently reminds us of the power of doing nothing. Soften your forehead and jaw, even if you're imagining them soften a little bit more. And then down the neck, shoulders. Throughout the length of the arms, to your wrists, palms, and fingertips. There's a metaphor here. We tend to hold on and clench so much with our hands. Notice that purposeful awareness of the palms and fingers when they're soft and relaxed, not when they're not holding on to anything. Soften the upper back, mid back, lower back. The tailbone. Then soften around the hips, behind the knees, down to your ankles and toes. You can practice deep, full breathing, deep belly breaths, or you can allow your breath to go back to its natural rhythm, no control of the breath. Either way is fine. Start to shift your attention back to your breath, inviting a generous and leisurely inhale and exhale. Restore some movement to your fingertips and toes. Inviting that deep belly breath.